My sister framed me, cried to my parents, and got me thrown out barefoot at 15. Weeks later, she bragged about it, and Mom overheard everything. I'm Ethan, 18 now, but I was 15 when all of this went down. If you asked my family to describe me back then, they'd probably say I was the problem. My father believed respect was a one-way street. You gave it to him without question, or you got his belt, or at least his voice, loud enough to feel like one. My mother followed his lead like it was gospel. Then there was Mia, my sister, 2 years younger, the perfect child. She could burn the kitchen down making popcorn, and Dad would call it a learning experience. I forgot to mow the lawn once, and I was irresponsible, headed nowhere in life. That's how it always was. Everything Mia did was forgiven. Every move I made proved I was doomed to fail. If she passed a test, she was diligent and brilliant. If I passed one, it was luck. She was the golden child, and I was the family's shame. I always thought it was unfair, but I never imagined she'd take it that far. It started like a normal night. I was in my room, messing with music downloads on my old laptop, half doing homework. It was late, probably past 11 p.m. My door flew open, slamming against the wall. Both my parents stormed in like I'd set off an alarm. Mom's face was red, Dad's veins bulging on his forehead. Behind them, Mia was fake crying so hard she deserved an Oscar. He stole it. I saw him take it from Dad's wallet, she wailed, pointing at me. What? I sat up, confused as hell. Dad was already across the room, tearing it apart like he was on a crime show. He lifted my pillow, and there it was, crumpled bills, maybe $300 or $400, stuffed underneath. My stomach dropped. I told you. Mia screamed, crocodile tears streaming down her face. My brain couldn't process it. I hadn't touched his wallet. I hadn't even been near it. But before I could speak, Dad was in my face, jabbing a finger at my chest. You've embarrassed this family for the last damn time. You think we didn't notice things missing before? You think we're stupid? I jumped up, shaking my head. That's not mine. She planted it. She's lying. Why would I steal when I'd been saving every cent from babysitting and mowing lawns? Ask Mrs. Carter next door. Enough. Dad barked, so loud it shook my glass of water. A liar and a thief. You've made this house a joke. I looked at Mom for help, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. She just echoed Dad, like his word was law. Meanwhile, Mia stood behind them, head bowed like a saint. But I saw it, the smirk, that flicker of glee on her lips as Dad started throwing my stuff into a trash bag, like I was some stray they were tossing out. Dad, please, it's not true, I said, my voice breaking. But it didn't matter. He grabbed my backpack, dumped it on the bed, and started stuffing it with random clothes. Mom started to say something, but Dad's glare shut her up. Mia let out a dramatic sniffle. I'm scared to even live in this house with him. He gets so angry. What if he hurts me? That hurt worse than anything. I spun toward her, heart pounding. What are you talking about? I've never touched you. But the damage was done. Dad's jaw clenched. That's it. Out. Now. They shoved the bags into my arms and dragged me down the hall, Mia trailing behind, whispering, I told you they'd believe me. At the front door, Dad yanked it open. The night air hit me like ice. I was barefoot, in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Dad pushed me onto the porch so hard I stumbled. My sneakers were by the door, so I grabbed them before he could slam it shut. You don't come back until you're ready to admit what you did and apologize to your sister, he said, low and final. I didn't do anything. I yelled, throat raw. She's lying. She set me up. Don't you dare talk about her like that, Dad snapped. She's been nothing but good to this family. You're jealous, Ethan. Jealous and bitter. The door slammed, rattling the glass. I stood there, trash bag slipping from my arms, waiting for it to open again, for them to realize they'd just kicked out their own kid over tears and planted cash. It didn't. I sat on the porch steps, shivering, staring at the quiet street. I wasn't just grounded or in trouble. I was exiled, 15 years old, standing outside my own house with a trash bag and a backpack. I knew Mia had won. She had their trust, their love, their loyalty, and I was disposable. I gripped the trash bag like it was a lifeline, my chest so tight I could barely breathe. Part of me wanted to bang on the door until they listened. Another part knew it wouldn't matter. They'd chosen her lies over my truth. I was already cut out of the herd. The first night, I wandered around the block until my legs ached. It was late, freezing, and I was clutching a trash bag like a runaway. I thought about crashing at the park, but the benches were wet from sprinklers. Then I remembered Sophie, my best friend since middle school, lived a few blocks away. Maybe her parents would let me stay the night. Her eyes widened when she saw me in sweatpants, holding a trash bag. She let me in quick, whispering questions. I told her they kicked me out. She didn't seem shocked, just sad. She gave me a blanket on the floor and some leftover pizza. I slept better than I had in weeks. But her mom wasn't as kind. The next morning, she pulled me aside. She wasn't mean, just blunt. "Ethan, you can stay a few nights, but I can't afford another mouth. You'll have to figure something out." I nodded, acting like it was fine, but my stomach twisted. Sophie's mom drove me to school early on the third night and said I couldn't come back. That was it. I stuffed my trash bag in my locker and pretended I had somewhere to go. From then on, I couch surfed. A classmate let me crash on their couch for a night. Another let me stay in their basement, but only for one night. People didn't want to deal with my family's drama. After about a week, I ran out of options. That's when I started sleeping wherever I could, behind the gas station in a corner by the dumpsters where the light didn't reach. I could hide in the library until closing, but the security guard caught me after a couple nights and kicked me out. I tried the school bathroom once, locking myself in a stall, but someone saw my bag, and word spread fast. Hunger was worse than the cold. I had maybe $40 saved from mowing lawns and babysitting. It went fast on cheap burgers and vending machine snacks. After that, I skipped meals or drank from water fountains. My stomach growled so loud in class, I'd get looks. School didn't make it easier. Mia worked fast. By the end of the first week, everyone knew the story, how I stole money from Dad, how I got kicked out. She made me sound like a junkie in training. Kids pulled their backpacks closer when I sat near them. Teachers gave me long stares, like they'd been warned about me. In math class, a girl moved her notebook and whispered, "Sorry, I don't want my stuff stolen," loud enough for everyone to hear. The whole row laughed. I wanted to scream, but I knew it wouldn't help. One day in the hall, Jake, a basketball player, shoulder-checked me and yelled, "Watch your hands, thief." I shoved him back on reflex, and for a second, I thought we'd fight. A teacher broke it up, but I got the warning, not him. "One more incident, Ethan, and you're suspended." I heard it everywhere. Mia shines, I sink. She made sure everyone knew she was responsible with money, unlike some people. She'd catch my eye across the cafeteria, smirk, and then turn back to her friends, all sweet again. She loved every second of it. By the second week, I was a ghost at school. Nobody wanted me around. I sat alone, ate alone when I had food, and pretended I didn't care. But inside, it was killing me. Nights were the worst. I'd curl up with my backpack, sweatshirt over my face, hoping cops or drunks wouldn't bother me. The cold concrete made my back ache. My shoes stank from walking miles every day just to kill time. All I could think was, my own family did this. Not strangers, not enemies. My sister. One night, I tried sneaking into the library again, thinking if I hid better, they wouldn't notice. I curled up behind some shelves, using my bag as a pillow. Around midnight, the guard's flashlight hit my eyes. "You can't stay here, kid," he said, dragging me out the side door like a trespasser. I didn't know where to go. For the first time, I thought maybe they wanted me gone for good, like I wasn't supposed to exist anymore. I ended up behind the gas station, among the trash. I closed my eyes, but all I saw was Mia's smug face, fake crying as my parents shoved me out the door. She'd won, for now. But I kept telling myself someone would listen. Maybe a teacher, maybe a family member with a spine. I was wrong. It all changed when Dad found me. I don't know how he knew where I was, maybe Mia told him, maybe he just drove around. I was on a park bench, hoodie pulled tight, when his car's headlights hit me. He got out so fast I thought he'd run me over. "Get in the car," he ordered, slamming the door. I stayed glued to the bench, my gut tightening at his voice. "Now," he barked. I shook my head. "Not unless you're ready to admit Mia lied." His face twisted like I'd spit on him. "Don't you dare talk about your sister like that. She's been through enough because of you." "Through enough?" I snapped. "She planted the money. She framed me, and you just believed her." His jaw tightened. He stepped closer, pointing like it was a weapon. "You're coming home. You're going to admit what you did and apologize, or I'll call the cops and tell them you've been stealing from stores, begging on the street. Understand?" I gripped my bag strap. "I'm not coming home to be treated like garbage again. Call whoever you want. I'm not admitting to something I didn't do." For a second, I thought he'd hit me, his fists clenched, face red. But he turned, got back in the car, and peeled out, leaving me shaking. That's when it hit me. He didn't want the truth. He wanted control. The next day at school, I went to the counselor, thinking maybe if I laid it all out, she'd believe me. I sat in her office, heart racing, and told her everything, how Mia planted the money, how she bragged about it, how my parents kicked me out. She listened, nodding with that blank counselor face. When I finished, she sighed. "Ethan, I get that you're under stress, but accusing your sister without proof won't help. Your parents already talked to us. They're worried about your behavior. They said you're unstable. Unstable? That word hit like a brick. Like I was a bomb, not a kid sleeping behind gas stations. I'm telling the truth, I said, voice shaking. She shook her head. Focus on schoolwork. Show your family you're trustworthy through your actions. Basically, suck it up. That's what she meant. I tried one more angle. I called my aunt from a payphone outside the supermarket. She answered cheerfully until she heard it was me. Her tone shifted when I told her what happened. Ethan, I can't get involved. Your parents are doing what they think is best. Maybe if you just apologized. I hung up before she finished. My own blood didn't want to touch this mess. Everyone wanted the easy story, Ethan's the screw-up, Mia's perfect. Case closed. That night, I sat outside the gas station, back against the wall, sipping water from a bathroom sink, trying to feel something in my gut. The neon sign buzzed above. Cars came and went, and I was invisible. Then I heard the voice I hated most. Wow, didn't think you'd last this long out here. Mia, holding a Pepsi, casual as hell, like she was just saying hi. I glared. Why are you here? Curious, I guess, she said, smirking. Wanted to see how long before you crawled back. My fists clenched. Why are you doing this to me? You think you had it rough? She said, voice steady. Try being me. Mom and Dad never let me slip, not once. Every grade, every chore, every little thing was compared to you. If I messed up, it was, don't be like your brother. That's all I ever heard. I frowned, but she kept going. Now, for once, I don't have to be perfect. I just have to not screw up like you. And honestly, that's easy. I'm not giving that up. You're sick, I muttered. Her grin widened. What's really sick is how easy it was. Everyone already thought you were the screw-up. I just gave them proof. I wanted to scream, shove her, something. But she leaned in, voice low. And if you keep pushing it, if you keep running your mouth about me, I'll make up something worse, and you won't just be homeless. You'll be locked up. She said it so calmly, so confidently, it made my skin crawl. She wasn't bluffing. She was already planning her next move. She walked away like she hadn't just threatened to ruin me completely. That thought stuck with me for days. Every time I tried to sleep behind the gas station or walk to kill daylight, it echoed. Mia wasn't just making me look bad. She wanted me erased, like I never existed. By the third week, I was lower than I thought possible. My money was gone. My phone was dead. I hadn't eaten a real meal in 2 days. I dragged that trash bag everywhere, school, bus stops, parking lots. It wasn't even sealed anymore, like a sign around my neck, homeless loser. One night, I tried hiding in the school library again, thinking if I tucked deeper behind the shelves, I'd be okay. Around midnight, a flashlight beam hit my face. Security grabbed my arm and marched me out. I told you, you can't sleep here, kid. Try it again, and I'll report you. Then you're suspended, he said with a smirk. It started raining after that. I walked for miles, rain soaking through my hoodie, shoes squishing. The trash bag got so wet it tore, and half my clothes spilled onto the sidewalk. I picked them up anyway, clutching the bag tight. Everything smelled like mildew. I ended up under the awning of a closed laundromat. My stomach churned with hunger, the kind that makes you dizzy. That was my breaking point. I sat there, shivering, thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe I'll just disappear, and no one will notice. That's when Sophie showed up. She came running with an umbrella, hair plastered to her forehead, out of breath like she'd been searching. Ethan, why didn't you answer your phone? I've been looking everywhere. My phone's dead, I mumbled. Truth was, I hadn't had a charger in weeks. She crouched beside me, ignoring the puddle soaking her jeans. You look awful. Thanks, I said, trying to laugh, but my voice cracked. She shoved a crumpled envelope into my hands. Take it. I frowned. What is it? Just open it. Inside was about $60, mostly small bills. My throat tightened. Sophie, I can't, you can, she cut me off. It's my allowance. I don't need it. You do. I couldn't speak, just nodded, clutching it like it was gold. She looked around, voice low. There's something else. Mia bragged at a party. I heard her. She told people she planted the money, set you up. My head snapped up. She admitted it? Yeah. But no one believed her. They thought she was showing off. Some even said, even if it's true, he probably deserved it. That hit like a punch. Deserved it. That's what people thought of me. I stood, pacing under the awning. If I can get someone to back me up, they won't, Sophie said quietly. She's too popular. No one wants to cross her. They think you're already a lost cause. The silence between us said it all. It wasn't just my parents. Everyone had written me off. That night, in the laundromat doorway, soaking wet, clothes reeking, stomach churning, something inside me hardened. If no one would stand up for me, I'd do it myself. After cleaning up in a gas station bathroom, I grabbed my damp trash bag and started walking. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared. I was done. When I turned onto our street, my chest tightened. The house looked the same, white siding, flower pots on the porch, the place I grew up. But it wasn't mine anymore. I stood in the rain for a long time before walking up the driveway. I was going to walk through that door and make them hear me, whether they liked it or not. I banged on the door 3 times, hard enough to sting my knuckles. For a moment, nothing. Then footsteps. The door creaked open, and there was Mia, like she'd been waiting. Her eyebrows shot up, twisting into a sneer. "Well, look who crawled back," she said. I pushed past her before she could stop me. My wet shoes squeaked on the hardwood. "I'm not here to stay. I'm here to talk." Mom's voice came from the living room. "Ethan?" She appeared, drying her hands on a dish towel. Dad followed, arms crossed, face already set. "Out. Now." "No," I said, chest heaving. "You're going to hear me this time. You've believed her lies long enough. Tonight, you're hearing my truth." Dad stepped forward, looming over me. "Watch your tone. You don't get to barge in here. And you don't get to throw me out with a trash bag because Mia cried and waved some bills around." I shouted. "You didn't even ask my side. Not once." "Because we know you," Dad snapped. "You've always been reckless, Ethan. Always jealous." His face hardened, but I kept going, fire in my chest. "Jealous? Let's talk about that. Remember when she copied my science project? The teacher called home, and you punished me for making her cheat. She cried, and you believed her. Always the same story. She's the angel, I'm the screw-up. Doesn't matter what actually happened." Dad's jaw clenched. For a split second, I saw something flicker in his eyes. He knew I was right. But instead of admitting it, he doubled down. He stepped closer, the smell of aftershave and anger hitting me. "Don't you stand here and disgrace this family. You've dragged this house down since you were a kid. You want me to admit we favored her? Fine, we did. She earned it. She keeps her grades up, helps your mother, stays out of trouble. You can't even keep a roof over your head." The words hit harder than a fist. My fists clenched, but I stood tall. "I can't keep a roof because you threw me out. Because she framed me, and you believed her without a second thought." Behind him, Mia leaned against the wall, sipping water like she was watching TV, a smirk on her face. I turned to her. "Go on. Swear right now you didn't plant that money. Look me in the eye and swear it." She tilted her head, lips twitching like she might laugh. "Sure, I swear," she said, voice dripping with sarcasm. I pointed at her, my voice breaking. "You hear that? You can't even take her seriously. She's lying to your faces, and you're still falling for it." Dad's face went red, hands curling again. Then, out of nowhere, he grabbed a glass from the table and threw it at me. His aim was off, but it shattered against the wall near my head. Shards cut my arm and cheek. Blood dripped, but he just pointed at the door, voice low and shaking with rage. "Get out before I call the cops and tell them you broke in. You want to keep making scenes? Fine, you can do it from a jail cell." I steadied myself, breath ragged, chest pounding, throat burning, but I wouldn't cry. "You've made your choice," I said quietly. "You picked her. You always pick her. One day, you'll see her for what she is. And when that happens, don't come looking for me." The room went quiet, except for Mia's soft chuckle. "Wow," she said under her breath, shaking her head. "Drama much?" I grabbed my bag from the floor and turned to the door. Every step felt heavy, like I was dragging chains. But I didn't stop. At the threshold, I turned back one last time, staring at them all. My parents frozen. Mia smirking. "You think I'm the problem? Fine. But when the truth blows up in your faces, remember this moment. Remember I warned you." I yanked the door open, stepped into the dark, and slammed it behind me. The cold air hit my face, mixing with the sting of the cuts on my arm. I walked fast, jaw tight, like distance would let me breathe again. Halfway down the block, I heard footsteps, quick, uneven, like someone jogging to catch up. "Wait up, bro." I spun around, heart pounding. There was Mia, jogging after me, calm as ever, face glowing under the street lamp. She was smiling, like this was a game. As she stepped onto the porch, I thought I heard the screen door squeak behind her, but I was too focused on her smug smirk to notice. My stomach flipped. "What do you want now?" I snapped, sharper than I meant. She slowed to a walk, hands in her hoodie pockets, casual as if out for a stroll. "Relax. Just wanted to see how far you'd take this." I glared, fists tightening, my arm aching from the cuts. "Farther than you think. I'm done letting you run the show." Her grin grew, teeth catching the streetlight. "You still don't get it, do you? Nobody's ever going to believe you. You can scream, cry, bleed all over the sidewalk, it won't matter. To them, you'll always be the screw-up. And I'll always be the one they're proud of. Proud? I sneered, shaking my head. You destroyed me. Destroyed you, she repeated, tilting her head like I'd said something funny. Then her voice dropped, crueler. I didn't destroy you. I just gave them proof of what they already believed. That was the smartest thing I've ever done. My stomach twisted, chest tight. Say it again, I said, stepping closer. She leaned in, voice a whisper, savoring every word. I framed you. I planted the money. And I'd do it again, watching you beg while I win. That's the best part. The words cut like a blade. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears, feel every drop dripping down my arm from the glass shards. Then another voice broke the silence. Excuse me? We froze. Mom stood at the edge of the porch steps, arms crossed tight, face pale. She must have followed Mia out without us noticing. For once, her eyes weren't angry at me. They were locked on Mia. What did you just say? Mom asked, voice sharp, like she didn't recognize her own daughter. Mia stiffened, her smirk gone. Mom, it was nothing. He's twisting it. Don't lie to me, Mom said, stepping onto the sidewalk. Her voice shook, but her face was dead serious. I heard you. You admitted it. You said you planted the money. For the first time in weeks, something cracked open inside me, a flicker of hope. My chest tightened, words spilling out. You heard her, Mom. You finally heard her. Mia's mouth opened, then closed. No excuses, no fake tears, no quick spin. She was rattled. The screen door slammed, and Dad stormed onto the porch, voice booming across the yard. What's going on? Mom turned to him, hands shaking. She admitted it, David. Mia just admitted she framed Ethan. Dad blinked, face paling. He slowed as he reached the porch steps, like he wasn't sure he wanted to hear the answer. He looked at Mia, jaw set. Is that true? Mia's lip twitched. She glanced between me, Mom, and Dad, panic in her eyes. Her fingers clawed at her hoodie pocket. She opened her mouth to deny it, but her face twisted, and the words came out like venom. So what if I did? I had to. You two always pushed me to be perfect, the example. I couldn't risk him screwing that up, so I took care of it. I made sure he was the one you gave up on. Her voice cracked on the last words, but the damage was done. The silence that followed was heavy. Mom staggered back, hand over her mouth. Oh my God, she whispered, tears streaming down, body shaking like she'd been hit. Dad's jaw tightened, hands curling, but this time at Mia, not me. His eyes were steel, like he was seeing a stranger in his house. You ruined your brother's life. You threw me out. I shouted, throat raw. You believed her over me. You tossed me in the street with nothing because she cried and pointed her finger. And now you hear the truth, and it's too late. Mia crossed her arms, trying to hide the shake in her voice with fake confidence. Don't act like you're some victim. You were always the mistake. I just made sure everyone saw it. Her words hit like another shard of glass. I clenched my fists, not to hit her, but to keep from collapsing. The silence stretched. Mom sobbed openly. Dad looked gutted, like the ground had vanished beneath him. And I stood there, bleeding, exhausted, but finally vindicated. The yard went quiet after Mia's confession. Mom froze, tears streaming. Dad looked like he'd aged a decade. Mia tried to act tough, but her hands shook. For once, her act didn't work. I stepped forward, blood streaking my arm from the glass cuts. My voice was rough but steady. You don't get to stand here and act shocked. You ruined me. You threw me out with nothing. Let the whole neighborhood think I was a thief because it was easier to believe her fake tears than your own son. You don't fix that with a few words. You're going to fix it the right way. Dad snapped his head toward me, like he couldn't believe I was still talking. Watch your tone. No, I said, firm. You don't get to tell me how to talk anymore. You lost that when you threw me out. If you want me to even think about stepping back in that house, you're going to clear my name. Publicly. Mom blinked back tears. Publicly? I nodded. You're going to write a post on Facebook, on the church page, in the family group chat, I don't care where. You're going to tell everyone the truth, that I never stole, that you spoiled Mia and let her lies destroy me. You're going to admit it for everyone to see. Otherwise, I'll do it myself, and I'll include everything, including how Dad threw a glass at me tonight. Dad's face went red. We don't air family business online. I laughed bitterly. You already did when you threw me in the street with a trash bag. You let Mia's story spread at school, at church, with neighbors. You were fine letting everyone whisper about me. Now you're going to be fine undoing it. Mom's crying got louder. She turned to Dad, voice breaking. David, he's right. We did this. We let it happen. She waited for him to respond, like always, but he stood rigid, fists tight, no words. For the first time, his silence didn't protect her. It dragged her down with him. Mom always echoed Dad's rules, his punishments, his words. But tonight, his silence wasn't enough. She saw it. Her hands shook as she pulled out her phone. "If you won't say it, David," she whispered, "I will." Dad's glare cut through her, like she'd betrayed him, but she didn't stop. Her fingers trembled over the screen. "Tell me what to write," she said to me. Mia's head jerked toward her. "What?" "Mom, you can't." "Quiet." Mom snapped, voice shrill. "You did this. You brought us here." I stepped closer, heart racing, and dictated slowly. "We need to apologize publicly. Our son Ethan was wrongly accused of stealing. The truth is, our daughter Mia framed him, and we believed her. We spoiled her, protected her, and let her lies destroy his reputation. We failed as parents. And Ethan deserves to be seen for who he really is, not the scapegoat we made him." Mom typed every word, hands shaking. Dad stood like stone, but he didn't stop her. She hit post. The words were out there. No taking them back. Within minutes, her phone buzzed with notifications. Comments poured in from relatives, church friends, neighbors. "We didn't know. So sorry, Ethan. It takes guts to admit this." Dad's face paled as they piled up. He knew his control was gone. Mia snapped. "You just ruined my life," she yelled. "Everyone's going to hate me now." Dad turned on her, voice low and dangerous. "No, Mia. You ruined your own life." Her face crumpled, no smirk, no fake tears, just panic. I stood there, bleeding, drained, but lighter than I'd felt in months. "You wanted me gone, Mia. You wanted me erased. Now it's your mask that's erased. Everyone knows who you are." She stared at me, voice shaky. "You think they'll ever forgive you? You'll always be the one who caused drama." I stepped closer, eyes locked on hers. "No, I'll be the one who survived it. You'll be the liar who got caught." The silence was thick, broken only by Mom's quiet sobs and the constant pings of her phone. Dad looked 10 years older. Mia, for once, looked small. I slung my backpack over my shoulder and walked to the porch. "I'm taking back my bed. You're not doing me a favor. You owe me. You threw me out. Now you're going to feed me, give me a roof, and live with what you did." No one argued. Mom and Dad stood hollow, not stopping me this time, not after the confession, not after the post went public, not after their control fell apart. For once, no one dared challenge me. Inside, the house felt foreign, like someone else's home, but I wasn't a guest. Not anymore. I'd brought the truth to light. I'd taken back what they stole. As I dropped my trash bag by the stairs, I saw them standing there. Mom's eyes hollow, Dad's face grim, Mia furious. "You wanted a perfect daughter so bad, you made me the villain," I said, voice low but steady. "Tonight, you told the world the truth. Don't think that fixes it. But at least now everyone knows what kind of family you really are." I walked upstairs, each step heavy but sure. For the first time in weeks, I'd sleep in a real bed, not because they allowed it, but because I demanded it. They'd cast me out once. Now, I was the one who chose to stay.